Welcome to another episode of Raven Stories. Yes, season 2 is themed Sister Sister. Through this season, I'll be sharing conversations I have with women in my life who are my sisters and who are also immigrants in one way or another. In today's episode, I sit down with my friend and sister Deborah. I just love Deborah so much. I hope that you enjoy our conversations.
The question generally isn't, why is this person struggling? How can we help this person? The question is, how can this be happening to you? And just like judgment, like you're not smart or you're a bad child. There's a lot of judgments, not like problem solving.
Deborah, I am so excited to finally be doing this interview after all the unplanned, all over the place weeks. And from my end.
Well, I can't like when it comes to not being able to schedule things, I'm not even one to judge because I know how crazy it is being a mom.
You are a mom too, but when you came
Hmm.
to Canada, you were not a mom. You were a
No.
teeny weeny weeny baby girl. You were a babe. I mean, you're still a babe. But can you tell us about your immigration journey?
So I didn't even know much of I didn't know, or it wasn't on my radar that people would leave the country for university when I was a child. Like I didn't even think about university at all. It wasn't on my mind
Mm.
until my brother, who's 4 years older than me, was going to university. And then they were like, okay, so maybe you go to Canada or you go to the UK. I was like, I guess that would probably be the same thing for me. So he ended up into the UK for school. And so because of that, I was like, okay, I'm going to go to the UK for school.
Mm.
But then when my time came, first of all, I had a lot of issues with my WAEC, with my math in particular.
Mm.
And I thought I was going to go to the UK, and I actually got admission to a school in the UK. Even when my math was not, I think I had a D in my WAEC math. And
Mm.
my dad was like, absolutely not. You are going to write that WAEC again until you have a reasonable math score. I'm like, I passed. If I found a school that would take me, just let me go. I found a school that will manage my result. He's like, nope, you're going to get to write it again. So I had to write the WAEC again until I think finally had a B in math. And so I was like, I guess now I can go in the UK. And my dad was like, well, actually, I'm hearing that it's better. I'm like, oh my goodness. I told all my friends because in my school a lot of people were going to the UK. I told everybody, okay, I'm coming to the UK. We had made plans. So when he told me that you're not going, I was so unhappy about it
I
because I was like,
mean,
now I'm going to be away from my friends.
wow.
Yeah. So that was
So
very heartbreaking for me.
most of your friends
Mhm.
had gone to the UK already.
Yeah, they had gone already because their parents either allowed them to go without having their math or they had their math, like their work result was good. So like I think I had some friends who went 2 years before I did. So they were all waiting for me. We had plans. And I don't even think I knew any close friend that was in Canada.
Hmm.
So I was like, this is just bad. But funny enough, it was around the same time that Obi, my husband, reconnected, and he was in Canada.
Hmm.
So I was like, okay, I guess I know one person in Canada. So it felt a bit better because like I was like, okay, now I'm becoming close friends again with somebody who's in Canada.
Hmm.
So that was how I ended up in Canada. My dad, he just surprised me with it, and I had no say in coming to Canada or even in the school
Hmm.
that I came to. It was just like this is Canada is where people are going to now. This is the school that is very affordable right now. So this is where you're going. It's like, okay. I mean, I guess I get to leave at least.
So when you reconnected with Obi, was he in the same
Hmm.
city or school that your dad had said?
No.
How did your dad find out about Canada?
So he was working with an immigration agent, the same immigration agent that helped him secure admission for my older brother and
Mm,
the and his study permit and all of that. So I guess the immigration agent had told him that Canada is where he's at right now. So he just completely changed his mind about sending me to the UK. So it wasn't even the same school as Obi because Obi went to the University of Toronto, and so he was like, no, that school is not very affordable
mm,
for an international student, especially. So was like, University of Manitoba is more affordable. So I'm like,
mm.
okay.
But you were on this at this point, even though you were, he sort of chose the school. He chose the school for you. You were like, at least I know somebody in Canada.
Exactly. Yes.
And so, in a matter of how many months did you have to prepare yourself that you were moving?
Um, Maybe about 6 months.
Whoa. Was it easy to get all your
Yeah.
papers, like your visa documents then?
I don't think it was. I think he just didn't tell me until things were looking more certain.
Mm,
So my dad is not the kind of person that talks a lot. I wasn't really carried along in the immigration process. So I just kind of just left everything to him, and he called me one day and said, "Well, you're not going to the UK anymore. You're going to Canada." I'm like, "Okay, which school am I going to?" He's like, "You're going to University of Manitoba." And I remember that was the first time I ever heard the word Manitoba. So after that, I didn't even ask him any more much question about it. I then went by myself to search the school up. I went and I saw pictures and all of that. So I think he had been working on it for a bit, but I only found out about it 6 months before I came.
that's crazy. What did your mom have to say?
Um, my mom didn't really much of an opinion on me coming to Canada. Her main concern was just that I would go to school,
Mm,
because she saw how unhappy I was that I was still back. And so she was just like, anywhere your dad knows what he's doing, anywhere he says you should go, just go.
mm.
So she didn't really have much of an opinion on it.
You know, this is the thing that now looking back, I see as a very different way of being here in the West. Like in the West, people fancy taking gap years, you know, like their friends like go to other
Mm,
universities, go to other countries, and that's what's in it, that's what it looks like. You know, people want to explore and see
mm-hmm,
what's next for me, even if they have a very
mm-hmm,
set mission. But it feels like
mm,
in Nigeria, it can just settle so heavily. Like, what are you even doing? How come you're not going to university right away? And for the first time, like in a long time, because you're in the school system from really young to like mid or towards the end of your teens. For the first time, you catch a break. And in our Nigerian society, before you can even catch that break, they're like, why aren't you in university? Like, where are you going? Where are you going? You know? And I
mm-hmm.
wonder if you've ever felt like that, like looking back, that you
Oh
didn't have enough
yeah.
time to
The
enjoy.
2 years that I stayed back, well, I didn't feel like, okay, well, I had time, but it
Mm,
wasn't enjoyable. Those 2 years were torture for me
mm,
because first of all, I'm like struggling to pass my math.
yeah,
People are asking you, and in Nigeria, you failed your WAEC. It's a shameful thing. In
yeah.
fact, I was not even telling people that I had failed.
But you're comfortable
So when
telling
they
the world on the internet that you feel Deborah. I'm like, no, I'm thinking, how am I going to edit this out of this
You
podcast?
don't have to edit it out. You know, and this part will come back to my story because you don't have to edit it out because I don't actually feel ashamed of it anymore.
Amazing.
Because
Yes,
part
Mama.
of this shame was like, oh, you're not intelligent or you're not this and you're
Mm,
not that. And Canada changed my opinion of myself completely. I
mm,
found out that I'm actually very intelligent.
yes, you
The
are.
people who were teaching me math just did not know how to teach me
Oof.
math.
Yeah. Mm,
Um,
Are we gonna go there? Mm,
so so yeah, but then I didn't know. I was like, people are going to look down on me. Our home was so stressful. You're washing plates. My mom is carrying me to all her church services. She's like, I know once you leave the house now, the next time I'll see you, you're getting married. And so she's like, I need to make sure. you have all your manners, you're deep in Christ. It was such a stressful time for me. I was like, I need to leave this house.
Hmm. Oh my goodness. Wow. Deborah, I don't think that we've ever even talked about this before. You know, and
No,
you
we
know,
haven't.
and you know that, that's what I just I just appreciate so much about you, your awareness, because at least
Mm,
hearing like
I
this
feel the
whole
same about you.
this whole thing about shame for different things. Like I'm just thinking, if a
Hmm.
child graduates and they have like just think about it, they've been in the school system for so long. I think they need a break. And if they
Yeah.
have, if they didn't do well in some of their papers, like, can we just stop this student shaming? Like, for once, can we
Hmm.
stop that? Like, can we take a look at what exactly was their teaching environment like? Like, that is a big
Hmm.
deal that I think culturally Nigeria doesn't necessarily do a great job. But let's not digress.
Yeah, there's a lot of shame in Nigeria. If you're struggling in almost any aspects, the question generally isn't, why is this person struggling? How can we help this person? The question is, how can this
Struggling.
be happening to you?
Hmm.
And just like judgment, like you're not smart or you're a bad
Mhm.
child. There's a lot of judgments, not like problem solving.
When your dad told you that you were going to be going to Canada, just take me through your train of thoughts leading to the day that you did end up traveling and what that day was like.
Initially I wasn't happy. Something about me is I actually am somebody that can be okay with almost any option as long as I expected it.
Mm.
So it threw me off for a while. I wasn't happy about it. But after I made my peace with it,
Okay.
I then accepted it and started to plan for it. Okay. Because I didn't even know much about Canada. I'm like, so what's the weather like in Canada? I looked up the school. I then started to do my research about Canada. And then I started to like find my clothes because I found out that it was very cold and I was coming in January. So then I just went, once I had made my peace with it, I went into like preparation mode and just planning for it. And yeah, I don't remember. It was more like, okay, how do I pack my things, put my life in order and for me to go. That's what I went into.
So it was for you more like, what is this place that I'm going to be like? And the only person that knew was Obi.
Yeah.
So I guess you guys were talking a lot then, and he was able to bring you up to code.
Yeah. But I don't even remember us talking much about Canada. Um, like he would tell me about his own experiences and all of that, but he also was just a freshman, I think, before I came. I think he was in his second year when I started. So he
Mm.
was also just a freshman. And but we didn't really talk too much about that. The only thing that comes to mind now that you asked me this is my mom bought me a winter jacket because she had traveled to the UK sometime before I was supposed to come to Canada. She bought me a winter jacket. And I
Mm.
was excited. I was showing it to him. I was like, so I'm ready for Canada now. This is my winter jacket. I remember him laughing at me. He was like, this winter jacket is for the UK guys. This jacket is not
Ah,
going to do anything for you in Canada. I was like, oh my
ah.
God. So that's really the only thing I actually remember when it comes to talking about this.
He must have seen that and been like, oh, this girl doesn't understand that she's going to Winnipeg.
Yeah,
And for you, I mean, like, after growing up in Nigeria, you just have no context for like minus temperature.
exactly.
I remember when I first started driving, I realized that, the knob on your air conditioning in the car. Like the red
Mm-hmm.
flag, it actually works and it's so useful in certain places. Like I thought it was just
Yeah.
decoration, like when I was in Nigeria. I'm like, who actually wants hot air blowing at them? But
Mm.
after experiencing Winnipeg winter, I'm like, oh, crank it, put it at the max. Did you travel by yourself or did one
I
of your
don't think
parents?
I've actually ever used that when I was here.
Really?
Yeah,
What?
yeah, yeah. But I also didn't drive before I went to Canada. I didn't drive in Nigeria, so I
Mm.
wasn't really too familiar with anything about cars and all of that.
So
because I would always just be in the back seats.
that ties to another question I have. What was your
Hmm.
life in Nigeria like? You've shared a little bit about what it was like before you
Hmm.
graduated, but just sort of like the day-to-day awarenesses that you had. Um, like who were you before you originally left your country? And who did you become when you arrived? And yeah, just like when you arrived, did you come with your parents and just walk us
Hmm.
through like the whole thing?
Yeah, I was very shy. I think I'm still shy.
Are you,
But
Deborah? I
now
don't
I
think
am.
so. I don't think you're shy. Mama.
No, 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 no. Shyness is still my default, but I think the only difference now is that I can break out of it when I want to. But
Mm.
it still has to be a deliberate effort for me. But that's with people that I'm not familiar with. I don't think I'm shy with you anymore. But but for most people I am. So yeah, before then I was generally shy. I was very sheltered, I think. I would say I was very sheltered growing up. So even when I went to Canada, my mom went with me.
Mm.
She flew with me, and it's even a very funny story because I stayed on school residence for my first semester,
Mm.
and I was so sheltered that my mom flew with me, and she had her own hotel room, but she stayed with me on my own bed in my school residence. But I had my room, a single room, and it
Oh.
was a tiny bed, and she would stay with me, and she would walk me to my classes, each and every of my class,
Oh,
and she
Deborah.
would
What?
and she would wait outside the class for me until I'm done, and she would
What?
walk me to the And it was not for her. It was for me. I needed it. It
Mm.
wasn't like, oh, she doesn't think I can do it.
Deborah,
I
your
didn't feel like
your mother is like she needs a medal. Are you serious? And
yeah,
when you said she stayed with you in your bed, I'm like, Deborah, which bed? Because if we went to the same university, which we did, those their beds
yes.
are small, oh, like even one
It
person
was a
is not
tiny
even enough
bed.
space.
Yeah, yeah, she would
Oh, my
stay with me.
baby. Oh.
When she would get tired in the night because the bed was small, she would move to the floor. And I'll be telling her, let
Wow.
me stay on the floor. And she's like, no, no, you need to sleep because you have classes. So she would even
Oh.
like when it was time to go eat, she would walk me to where I would eat. It was like 2 months later that someone told me that, is that your mom? I was like, yeah, that's my mom. She's like, does she also go to school here? I'm like, no, she doesn't go to school here. She was just here with me. Everybody was like, that's just weird and crazy.
No, that's love. That is wow, Deborah. I love that for you. I love that for you. You know, it just reminds me of, at university, I don't know if you remember these people, Segway. They would like go for parties and like offer people water, and the person that did it, she also did is it power to change or intervarsity? Anyway, the woman who led it, all her children were
Mhm.
in university. They were in university with her at the same time, and she was
Mm,
also in university. And she was just such a hands-on mom that
mm,
like she was pursuing her own goals, and she also was surrounding her children and making sure that y- I see you, we're here together, we're in this together
mhm,
vibe. And that's what I hear from your mom. Like, that is
mhm.
amazing. I didn't know that Auntie Philo did that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes, like, say I had a class that was a longer class and she couldn't just wait outside. She
Mm,
would go around because my mom is very good with directions. She
mm.
would now come back and say, I found a new route to get to your class where you don't have to come out. Like, it's all through the tunnels.
Deborah, I'm gonna cry. What? So amazing. What about your brother? Like, what about your other brother? Because you do have a younger brother. So she just left him in Nigeria with your dad, and she's like, I'm going to care for my daughter. How did he
Well,
navigate that?
he was still in secondary school and he went to a boarding school as well. So he was in school this when this was happening. Yeah.
Wow. So by the time she left, how long did she do this for?
Not too long though. She was there for 3 weeks.
Mm.
And then she left.
So she more or less helped you. she was like a padding to make the landing.
Exactly.
Mm.
Yeah.
When you think back to what she did, what are the feelings that you go through in your mind and your body?
I think it's very nostalgic, and it's also kind of very, it's a full circle moment because like years later she then also relocated to Canada, and
Mm,
it was me that helped her like process her papers and helped her settle in.
mm,
So it kind of was like she helped me like become comfortable, and then I was able to help her become comfortable in Canada. So it was
mm,
really good. And even I will feel bad sometimes because sometimes she was trying to prepare me for her not being there anymore. So sometimes when we would like not be able to find the class, she would tell me, "Okay, go and ask this person." And I told you like I was very, very shy. So I'll be like, "I don't want to. Can you ask this person?" She's
mm.
like, "What will you do when I'm not here?" And I
Oh,
would be so upset. And she's like, "No, I'm not going to ask. I'll stand here and watch, but you must go and ask by yourself." And I'll grudgingly go and ask, and I would like give her a hard time about it. But now I'm able to think back and see like she was trying to help me to exercise that muscle.
yeah, she was. Well,
Yeah.
Deborah, I mean, I knew you were sheltered, but this is taking shelter to the whole new level. I'm like, Deborah, this is like, Adebota loving. I honestly don't even know that any of my friends, their parents did this for them.
Mm.
Because like we were just talking about the mentality in Nigeria of, I mean, it's not everybody, but stereotypically, it's like, I
Mm-hmm.
beg, just grow up. What's your problem now? Are you the first one to
Mm.
go? Are you the first one to go? Are you the last one to go? That kind of
Mm.
evaluate
Mm-hmm.
yourself. And
Yeah.
just for your mom to remember that you are a child. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you're still a teenager. Your prefrontal cortex is
Yeah.
not fully developed. Like, you're still going through
Yeah.
states. I love that for you. So after your mom left, what happened?
Um, it was very hard for me to make friends after she left. Really for the same reason. I would go to class and I would just be by myself. In fact, it was much later when I started observing myself that I was like, wait, actually most of my friends, extroverts that adopted me.
Mm,
I don't have a lot of friends that I was like, I want to be your friend and I'm going to go and be your friend. It
mm,
was somebody else that wanted to be my friend. And I was like, oh, yeah, you're cool.
mm,
Or just maybe we were forced to work together and we just became friends. So it was very hard for me initially. The one friend that I had, it turned out very, very badly for me. We ended up falling out.
mm,
The one friend I had in school. But I think it's in my second year, that was when I started to have a bit more friends. But that was because I started working, um, and also I'd been in school. My friend Precious adopted me as a friend. And
mm,
also I remember, I think my mom was telling me one time that, oh, there's this girl from our church that is in Canada in your school. And it was you. I was like, oh, who? And so she described you. And I was like, oh, I know you. I never spoke
yeah,
to you in church, but I remember you were the leader for the teenagers.
yeah.
So I was like, okay, I have not seen her. Can you tell her mom to tell her that I'm here? Like, okay, I'm still waiting for her to help connect us. And she
Mm.
was like, okay, but I think she forgot until I saw you on the bus one day. I
You
think that was
did.
when we now spoke. Yeah,
Wow, look at God.
yeah.
Mm,
So it was hard for me to make friends. But academically, it was so much easier for me than primary school and secondary school were for me.
mm,
Yeah, I remember before I came, I was always so scared. Before the Sunday before I traveled, I went to my mom was like, come, let's go to the pastor's office, senior pastor's office,
yeah.
so that he'll pray for you before you go.
Mm.
And so I went and I remember telling him that he should pray for me, that I don't know if I'm going to be smart enough for this.
And what
So
did he
he
say?
prayed for me. And he was like, he'll pray for me, God will give me the grace to do well. So
Mm,
he prayed for me. And when I came, I remember I found things to be a lot easier than I had expected it to be.
mm,
Um, the teachers, it felt like they wanted to help. The assignments didn't seem like too difficult.
mm,
The first math class I took, I struggled with it.
mm,
Um, until I think at this point, Obi and I were dating. So I was struggling with this. One day I was telling him, and I was like, wait, why will I be struggling with math? And my boyfriend is a math major. Can
mm,
you look at what they are teaching me? Does this make any sense to you? And he was like, yeah, this is what they taught him when he was in his first year, that it's not difficult. And so, like, the first midterm, it wasn't a midterm, but a little test that I wrote, I think I got like 30 something percent.
mm,
So I was like, either we turn this thing around or I have to drop this course
mm.
because it's better to drop it than fail.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until he started to teach me
Mm,
that I was like, wait, so all of these things are connected. He was like, yeah, you didn't know all of this was connected. I'm like, no, I thought you were just teaching us a bunch of random things.
mm,
Like I didn't know that they were building up on one topic to the next topic will lead you to I didn't know. So when he explained it to me, everything started making sense. I think I ended up having a C plus at the end of it.
mm,
So that was when I was like, this thing is actually just I haven't been taught in the way that I think I should have been taught math. I think for me, I needed more special attention for math than just like being taught while they're teaching everybody else.
mm. And
Yeah.
I think many students need that and usually has
Yeah.
the kind of foundation that they had for math and like just
Mm.
hearing you talk through like this math course. Which math course was it? Was it like math 100 or intro to calculus?
No, it was calculus 1500 or was it 1520?
Yeah, I remember struggling so much with that course and in the middle of everything. But you know, it took Obi to show you that no, girlfriend, you can do this. That's a good boyfriend right there.
Mhm.
That is a good
Yeah,
friend.
yeah. And he was very patient about it too. And I would argue, I would argue with him, well, this is not how they taught me. This is not what my teacher taught. He's like, well, if the way they taught you was making sense to you, you wouldn't be here. Learn it this way. This is the easier way.
There are giving me those vibes of my teacher said.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. But okay, you touched on a few things. You touched on the friendship, the one friend that you had that things fell out. And that must have been hard for you, like not being more introverted. Um,
Hmm.
but I'm glad that you still found the courage to like put yourself out there. And then you started working, then you made more friends.
Yeah.
How did you meet Precious?
So we met in so there was this class, chemistry,
Mm,
intro to chemistry.
mm,
Before I took that class, somebody told me that this class is very, very difficult. Everybody that takes it fails. So prepare yourself to fail. I was like, because of this thing you've said, I will not fail this class.
mm,
So I then signed up for the supplementary instruction that came along with the class. So you'd go for the class, you go for your lab, and then you go for extra classes basically. So it was during one of those extra classes, one of the sessions that Precious came up to me and she was like, "Oh, you," because she was new. That was her first semester, I think, and she was like, "Do you know where I can get edge control?"
uh,
So she told me because I had laid my edges, and I guess she was looking for edge control. I was like, "Yeah, there's an African store after class. I can show you. I don't have anything else to do." She was like, "Okay, thank you." And so I took her to the African store after class. And
oh,
then she was like she's going to order food, so she ordered a four
yeah.
and pounded yam, and she was like, okay, let me walk her to her room. So I walked her to her room. She opened the F4 and she was like, come, let's eat. And I remember thinking, this
Oh,
girl is so strange. Who meets a person and you open and you know how you eat pounded yams with your hands and
yeah.
you are willing to eat like
They're ready
with
to like
somebody you've
dive in
just
there.
met.
Yeah.
Yeah. And after I went back and I told Obi, I was like, she's so strange, but like I like it because it's hard for me to make friends. So when things are moving like them, like, yes, I
Yeah.
don't have time for the awkwardness.
Yeah, you just like get right in there. Like you eat the
Exactly.
edges and you eat the poundo yam. Nice. I love that.
Yeah.
Because I think that's part of the learning too, like discovering which kind of people we want to be friends with and
Mm-hmm.
kind of people are not for us.
Mm-hmm. For my friendship with Precious, it was really interesting to me because like how right off the bat she was just very warm and
Mm,
sharing her food with me.
mm,
And I just really felt sure that this person wanted to be my friend.
mm,
And especially coming from another friendship that was very, very difficult and strained, it
mm,
was like, it was kind of healing, knowing like there are people who want to be your friend and people who will be kind to you and
mm,
will not treat you like you're trash.
mm. Because you're very
Yeah.
you're very vulnerable, and like we're all very vulnerable when we come here as international students, and
Mm-hmm.
like you were so fortunate to like have your mom around to sort of
Mm-hmm.
your landing. But for some people who do not have that and
Mm,
who may not have extended family members or who maybe are not naturally extroverted, it's
mm,
it's twice as challenging, to like find
yeah.
and people that make you feel like you feel safe to grow, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was it was very, very difficult at first.
Mm,
And just being friends with Precious also helped like move on from the other friendship that I had. And like you said, it helped me know the kinds of people that I wanted to be friends with.
mm,
Just friendships that are easy and people that like are actually putting in the efforts.
yeah. At a very
Yeah.
high level, can you like give like just tell, I mean, I know, but just to give our audience an insight into what exactly was it with the other friendship that just didn't make things go as well? Like, at a very high level.
I think I think the core of it just came down to, this is actually the first time I'm thinking about it. It
Mm,
came down to respect. I think it was just a friendship that didn't have respect and consideration.
mm,
Um, because for me, I feel like I'm a very, very loyal person, and I don't need a lot of friends. I don't need a lot of people. If I have like a few good people, like I will cherish those people.
mm,
And so that was how I went to that into that friendship. I remember like my mom would tell me, like, yeah, you should go out so you can make some more friends. I'm like, well, I already have this friend. Like, if I
mm,
have one friend, I don't need any other friend. That
mm,
was how like I just took things. And
mm,
so when you're being disrespected and it feels like this person isn't being considerate of you and a lot of name calling and just like actual pure disrespect. And growing up, like my mom would yell, but it was never like a nasty like yell where she's calling you stupid or like insulting you.
mm,
It was never that. So that was very, very jarring to me,
mm,
having that kind of friendship. So that was really what it was. And it got to the point because we became friends and eventually we got an apartment together. The situation I was trying to avoid when I was telling my dad that I didn't want to have a roommate
mm,
was the situation I then put myself into because I thought that this person was a safe person and we got an apartment together
mm,
and things got very bad very quickly and my home was no longer a safe space for me.
yeah,
Yeah.
that must have been scary. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
good memories. And that friend, you no longer like hear from them. I mean, you're not even
No. No, we're no longer friends.
Yeah, I think that for me, like when I think about friendship, it's just the realization that as you grow older, you will say goodbye to some friends and it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wish I had even said goodbye to that friendship much earlier than
Mm.
I did. Yeah. But when you don't have options, I didn't have any other friend.
I
So
know you were
you
going
hold on.
I thought you were going to say, I wish I had gotten to say goodbye. But then you like, it's like a very savage comeback. Like, yeah, I wish I got to say goodbye earlier. I said goodbye too late. I wanted to leave that party way sooner.
Yeah.
There is more to this conversation. You can catch the full story on the next episode. Until then, thank you so much for listening. We are as organic as it gets, meaning we are Instagram free, TikTok free, Facebook free platform. Welcome to the wannabe 80s. If you are an immigrant and would love to be interviewed in future seasons, please submit your interest through the link in the description. We would love to hear from you. I hope to meet you someday, but until then, please enjoy and follow or subscribe to hear more stories.